कांग्रेस के घोषणा पत्र में वही सोच झलकती है जो सोच आजादी के आंदोलन के समय मुस्लिम लीग में थी। कांग्रेस के घोषणा पत्र में पूरी तरह Muslim League की छाप है।
Today I will bring before you a short story in 3 parts of how India's grand old party, the Congress, has been fabricating a new Muslim League in India.
Muslim League is a completely secular party.
Yes, the same Muslim League which played a prominent role in dividing India. In the first part, I will draw similarities between the ongoing debate that the recently released Congress Manifesto for the loksabha elections 2024 and the Muslim League Manifesto of 1936 is exactly the same. So on your left side, you can see the 1936 Manifesto of Muslim League, and on your right, the Congress Manifesto of 2024. Muslim League Manifesto had a provision that the party will protect the Sharia personal laws of the Muslims. Congress has a similar provision of ensuring that minorities will have personal laws. Muslim League also had a provision to fight against majoritarianism, and Congress also stated that there would be no place for majoritarianism in India. Next, the Muslim League Manifesto talked about fighting for special scholarships and jobs for Muslims, and Congress Manifesto has a similar provision of ensuring scholarships for Muslim students to study abroad. It is surprising to see what is this fondness and soft corner that Congress has for the Muslim League, because my next part talks about the same of how the Congress toolkit started spreading fake news on the Rameshwaram cafe blast. Journalist Rajdeep Sardesai, Congress leader Srinivas BV, Lavanya Jain and many others tweeted a misleading news that a BJP worker was detained as an accused in the cafe blast case, whereas the NIA later clarified that the person identified as accused in the case was Musafir Hussain and Abdul Mateen. This is similar to what Congress did in the 26/11 Mumbai terror case by calling it a Hindu terror attack and RSS ki sazish. This whole idea of covering the Islamist terror activities by Congress is not a new thing. Their scion Rahul Gandhi in his foreign trips could be heard saying that IUML is a secular party and there is nothing non-secular about it.
Muslim League is a completely secular party. Right. Muslim League is a completely secular party. Right.
Well, IUML is an offshoot of Muslim League of Jinnah, who played an important role in dividing India on secular lines during 1947. And remember, Rahul Gandhi did not hoist its flag in the nomination rally in Wayanad only because IUML had objected to the tricolor of the Congress. Divisive politics is at the core of Congress, and now they have decided to further it with their manifesto provisions. Because in the third part, I will tell you how the provisions even matches with Muhammad Ali Jinnah's 14-point demands of 1929. Both the copies are on your screen and let's match the similarities. In Jinnah's points, it stated that if Muslim community considers any bill or proposal against its interest, then such bill or proposal will not be passed anywhere. It is similar to the Congress provision that reforms in personal law will be promoted and such reforms will be done with the participation and consent of Muslims. Another point in Jinnah's demand was that Muslims would get adequate representation in government services and institutions. Congress also stated that if the government is formed, it will ensure that Muslims get their fair share of opportunities without any discrimination in education, healthcare, public employment, public work contracts, skill development, sports and cultural activities. Jinnah also made a demand that rights of religion, culture, education and language of Muslims should be protected. This is similar to what Congress Manifesto stated, that they will respect and maintain the fundamental rights given to minorities. Jinnah talked about provincial autonomy, and Congress also talked about giving autonomy to the Minority Commission on the lines of Election Commission and Human Rights Commission. But amidst all this, an amusing thing to note here is that Congress has been following the ideals and principles of Muslim League by going against their own foremost leader, Pandit Nehru. Because if I show you one of the recommendations of the Nehru Report of 1928, then it clearly mentions that there will be no separate electorates for minorities because it awakens communal sentiments. So instead of that, there would be joint electorates. But little did Pandit Nehru knew at that time that his own great-grandson and his party would betray him by coming up with such divisive promises in their manifesto. This is the end of this small story of how Congress has been aligning itself on the path of Muslim League. So now it's up to the voters of New India to ponder and decide upon who should be their future leader.